What up, guys? So I wanted to start something new and once a week focus in on a different digital nomad visa from around the world. And we're going to kick it off with a new one that's people have been really wanting for a long time, and it's the Japanese digital nomad visa. And people have been asking for this. Japan has its own unique allure that is different from almost everywhere else in the world. And so they recently announced their new visa. We'll get into some of the requirements that they've actually listed. There's probably still that we got to wait on, but we'll go over the requirements, what you get out of it, and really if it's worth it. Because sometimes just because a country has a digital nomad visa doesn't mean it's all that practical or you get many benefits out of it. But anyways, the lowdown on the Japanese digital nomad visa is to qualify, you have to make the equivalent of 10 million yen, which depending on when you apply and the exchange rates and everything, you're looking at $68,000. It's probably better just to call it 70,000 and move on, because it's going to change with the exchange rates by the time it opens up. And with that, you need to have your own private health insurance. That's pretty standard for a lot of digital nomad visas. You are allowed to bring a spouse and children on that visa. Now, there's no information as to if that increases what the minimum income level is. That'll probably come out later once it opens up. A lot of countries you do have to add, but the $70,000 or 10 million yen is pretty high. So maybe they'll just that's it. It's good for 6 months. You cannot renew it. After 6 months, you have to leave unless you have a different visa, and you are allowed to reapply after you've been out of the country for 6 months. So it's 6 months in, 6 months out. If you want to go back and forth, that's up to you. But other than that, there's not a lot of other information as to paperwork specifics. A lot of digital nomad visas do require a background check. That's not listed as a requirement as of yet. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually it is added, because a lot of countries do have that, whether it's an FBI background check or just kind of a basic run for the state. But that's pretty much the lowdown on the requirements to apply. Again, there's no information yet as to if it'll cost anything to apply. Usually it does. But that will be released once the portal opens up and people can begin applying. Anyways, now let's get into, is it even worth applying? Because here's the thing. A tourist visa for Japan, if you're from the United States or most of Europe, Canada, places like that, a tourist visa is good for 90 days. This digital nomad visa is good for twice that, so you have 180 days. You have a lot of paperwork and potential hassle in the application process. Now, again, they haven't opened up, so we don't know exactly what all will go into it. But a lot of places make you translate it. It has to be apostilled, so it's official. That costs money. Again, you almost certainly will have to pay to apply. No word yet as to what that will cost. If paperwork gets really complicated with proving your income and all that stuff, you might have to get an immigration attorney. I know people that have applied for the Spanish digital nomad visa, and it's just easier with an immigration attorney because the consulates aren't always the most helpful around the United States. So a lot of people end up springing for $1,000 attorney to handle most of that for you. So if you're looking at it and there's a lot of extra little fees, you have to really consider, are those extra fees good, or even worth 3 more months? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a lot of extra work, a lot of extra paperwork for 3 months. They really kind of pulled an Iceland on this, because Iceland has a similar digital nomad visa setup. Its income requirements are on the higher end. Theirs is, I believe, $7,000 a month. It might be $7,100. It's high. It's more expensive than the Japanese one. It's only good for 6 months, and you can't reapply. So it's they obviously, Japan, along with Iceland, obviously want higher income individuals that will come in, spend money, stay for 6 months, leave. The 6 months don't count towards residency or citizenship or anything like that, like a lot of others do. So it's up to you where if you want to do all that for 6 months. When in reality, you could stay for 3 months, go to Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, wait 3 months there, come back. So you can do a 3 month on, 3 month off instead of 6 month on, 6 month off, and just save yourself the hassle of all the paperwork. For me personally, I don't think 6 months, if you can't renew, is worth it. Even if you make the money, even all that stuff. That's just me. Maybe you love Japan and you want to spend as much time there as possible. By all means, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you not to. This is your dream. This is your travel. I'm just speaking for me personally. If I'm going after a digital nomad visa, I want to be able to stay longer. And 6 months is just not that much. You have to pay to fly out. There's all those extra fees, and it's just like, I want to be able to stay. Plus, I travel with my dog, and that brings up a lot of other headaches and hassles, and so it's really just not worth it for 6 months for me. But I don't know. That's kind of the basics. We still have to wait and find out more information and the extra fees and different things about that. You likely won't have to pay taxes in Japan unless you have freelance work inside Japan. Again, there's no information yet as to if you can pick up freelance work in Japan or if it has to be 100% external. Countries do both. We'll have to wait and see on that. But what do you guys think? Like, are you excited that Japan has a digital nomad visa, or are you kind of disappointed with the actual offering? You know, when they released it, and it's like 6 months, and the income requirement is that high. Like, it's one of the highest income requirements for such a visa, outside of places like Germany, where they want you to have like engineering and very high end degrees. So this is just my initial take. For me, 6 months. The 6 month and all the paperwork is just not worth it. There are other places in Asia if you just want the Asian vibe. There's other options. But if you just want Japan specifically, maybe this is for you. But yeah, that's really everything we can talk about with this. There's not much else to say. And but again, let me know what you think about this visa. Do you think it's worth it? Do you wish they had gone more? Do you wish they had made it a year? Like, would it be worth it if it was good for a year and you couldn't reapply? Or I don't know, let me know. And again, this is going to be a weekly thing. I'm going to do a different country every week. If there's a specific country you want to dig deeper into, let me know in the comments. The ones that have been more established, it'll be easier to talk more in depth. This is still the infancy of this information. But anyways, thanks guys for watching. Like, subscribe, leave comments. I'll do the best I can to answer everything. And I will talk to you guys later.